Hello and welcome to another Scottish mountain walking guide. Today I'm going to climb Beinn Bhuidhe. Beinn Bhuidhe is a solitary Munro that is approached via Glen Fyne. The start of the walk is about an hour and 25 minutes drive from Glasgow, and once again I'll include links in the description below to the route on OS Maps and the parking on Google Maps. Parking is free and there's space for around 10 cars. The total distance for today's walk is 21 kilometres with around 1,010 metres of ascent. It is expected to take around 7 hours to walk. You can cycle around 6 kilometres of the approach road. It's not open to private vehicles, but you can cycle on it, and this reduces the walking distance down to around 9 kilometres. So starting at the car park, you leave the car park and head to your right, and you'll soon come to a bridge that goes over the River Fyne. After crossing that bridge, turn immediately to the left and go down the track. This takes you down. You'll go by the Fine Brewery farm here. You'll see that as you go through and round the corner, and then you just keep following that track. It'll then join up to a gravel road on the left hand side, and this road is all tarmac at this point. Keep following that road as you cross over the river there. You keep following. Then you'll see that the road, the tarmac, crosses back over the river, so it goes across to the right hand side here. At this point we want to stay going straight ahead, but the road changes to a gravel track. So you go down the gravel track. From there you just keep following that track. I should point out, just before you join the woods again on your left hand side, there is a deer fence and gate, and there's a sign on it requesting that cyclists leave their bike. There's a large metal bike padlocking area just at the side of the path here, so you can secure your bike to that. So you leave your bike here, go through the gate, and then follow that path. You'll come to a white cottage on your left hand side, and as you pass that you'll go through another gate. When you go through that gate, immediately after going through the gate you will turn left. There's another wooden gate that goes across on your left, and you'll go through that gate. Now you can go up and down by the second path. I would recommend, as long as you don't mind doing a little bit of scrambling, and it is a very short section, and I think you can even bypass that section with a slight detour, which wouldn't take you too far out of your path. But I would recommend going up this gully, very scenic gully. There are a lot of waterfalls in the river here, and it's a very nice place to go for a walk. There's a little bit of woodland as you can see here, and the views open up as you get higher up with big waterfalls, so it's a very nice place to walk. So you follow that. It does get a little bit steeper at times, and there's a little bit of scree in one section. I think it's around here, but other than that it's quite clear. But there is a hydro road that you can see in this map, and that road you'll cross it here, and you also cross it again on the descent further along. But when you zoom in on the map, so the hydro road is right here, but it doesn't show it when you zoom in on the map detail. It doesn't show it on, well there you go. So you cross that hydro road and you follow the track, and it's quite clear. It gets very boggy once you cross that hydro road. There are very swampy, wet sections of the path, but again you can see maybe just a little bit further on, maybe 50 feet on, you can see the path again. So you follow the path and it climbs up. Then you go across a large flat section, and then it gets a bit steeper as you're climbing up here, but you can easily follow the path. When you get to the top here, there is a small cairn, and at that cairn you turn left. From there all the way to the top is a very clear path that's cut into the hillside. So from the top you retrace your steps back to that cairn, and just to make it a little bit more interesting I took a different descent route, so you keep following that along here. I will say that when it bends here it gets a bit unclear, signs of where other people have walked and they've come down a little bit too soon. I came off a little bit and then I was checking where I was, and then I worked my way across, and I was coming down the side of this stream at one point, and then I could see the path on the other side, so I joined up with the path and then followed that path down. You keep following it down, you'll cross this path. Again, it's really quite difficult to keep a track of the path where it crosses over here. I think I came down slightly more to this side. There are tracks from other paths. And once again I work my way across, and then when you find you're on the path proper, it does get a lot more clear as you work your way down. You'll eventually join a fence line. Here it is here. So there's a fence line here, and as you come down you will see a stile. The tracks aren't that obvious, and most people have walked down here. You see there's a clear path heading down the side of the fence, continues to go down, but when you see the stile, it is a good sign that you're probably meant to cross the fence. So you do cross the fence at that stile, and that cuts across here. This fence, as you can see, there's a fence there, it goes up, and at the corner here there's another stile, so you can cross the fence again, and then you just keep to what is the left hand side of this fence as you're coming down. And the path once you get to that stile in the corner up here, this path is a lot more clear. And you work your way down, you're going down through the ferns again. There was a lot of ferns on the way up, it was very wet. And you go down through the ferns, and then you've got to climb over a fence here. It's like a gate, but it's tied shut, so you have to climb over that. And then you get down to the road. And from there, you just retrace your steps all the way back out to the car park. So now we're going to have a look at the walk. Good morning, it's 7 o'clock, another Saturday morning. The weather's turned a bit, not as sunny as it's been recently. I'm at the entrance of Glen Fyne, and you can see there's a clacking power station. This is a car park for Beinn Bhuidhe. The start of this walk, I say walk, I'm going to cycle the start. It goes down this road here, over a bridge, and then you turn left. It's about 7 kilometres on sort of tarmac for a while, and then a gravel path until you get to the start of the actual walk proper, where you start going uphill. And so I've brought my bike. I'm going to cycle the 7k. It's then about 3.5 kilometres walk uphill. Reading on the Walk Highlands website, there is a point where there's a deer gate and they ask you to leave your bikes behind. So I'm not quite sure how far we'll be able to cycle. This was the very first Munro I climbed almost 30 years ago. And actually, when I climbed it, I almost never climbed anymore because it's not the most interesting Munro. It's a bit of a slog up a big grassy hill. The route that I've picked from Walk Highlands, it takes you up one side of a gully on the left hand side as you're going up. And it's meant to include a little bit of scrambling. I think when we did it, we just went up the other side, which I'll use as the descent route. So, fortunately, the second walk I did was Curve Ridge on Buccleuch Moor, and after that I was hooked. But then I like scrambling, as you've probably gathered. Anyway, I'm going to head off down this way, cross the bridge, turn left. It was a long walk along Glen Fyne that was a really tough part, and it is a bit of a shapeless hill, I felt. We'll see what it looks like today. Hopefully it's open when I come back. Looks like it's open from 10 till 6. Stop here and get some beer. This road, you just follow it all the way along, it'll cross over the river, and it's when it crosses back over that you keep on to the left hand side, and it changes from a tarmac road to a gravel track. Still a bit to go to get before we get there. I've just approached the third bridge coming from the car park. So this time we avoid the bridge, we stick to the left and just keep going straight ahead, and the road changes from tarmac road to a gravel road. I've reached the gate I mentioned earlier, and there is a sign there saying please leave your bikes. They've put in some metal railing for you to secure your bike to. Let's hope it's not a ruse and they come along with a van and some bolt cutters and take everybody's bikes at lunchtime. Covered about 5 kilometres so far. So a 2 kilometre or 2.5 kilometre walk to the start of the actual mountainside where you go up. And we'll just go through the gate here. It's pretty much follow this trail until we cross a little river, or just before that we'll go up to the left, and when we come back down we'll come down on the other side of that river. Obviously I'll show that when we get there. It's a nice place for a walk. I think I appreciate it more the older I get. Looks like I'm going to get wet. I'm going to go up into the clouds, and even if it isn't raining up there, the thickness of that clag is just going to get me wet. When you come to this building, I think we've got about 100 to 150 metres to go along the road, and then we turn off to the left. So we're getting close. We're going to go up the gully behind the house, up the left hand side of that gully, and come back down on the right hand side. It's meant to be easier to descend. There's a little bit of scrambling. It's meant to be a tricky bit. We'll see if we spot that on the way up on the left. Immediately after that building, that lodge, there's a gate, and as soon as you come through the gate you turn left through this wooden gate here. I think I'm going to put my waterproof trousers on, because walking through these ferns, they are saturated and I'm just going to get absolutely soaked. So waterproof's on and head up the hill here. Waterproof's on, the midges are fierce. That is ridiculously wet. It's the right idea to put the waterproofs on. If you like gorge walking, this is definitely the place to come. Once you get to the hillside where the path turns off, it's quite a sharp, steep ascent, so you get up quick. I'm coming to the cloud line, so not sure what we'll see after this. I think there's a chance it might be clear at the top. There's also rain forecast to come in. It's, I think about 11 o'clock, something like that. We'll just keep making our way up. I think I've got above most of the ferns that were just getting me absolutely drenched. It's now a fine mist. I'm going to take the waterproofs off. I'm going to be wet, but at least I'm not going to be so hot. There's a very slight scrambly section here. It also looks like you can take a little detour path up that side. I'm going to go up here, even though it's wet, just make sure I'm not trying to use any smear holes with my feet. Should be okay. It's very slightly tricky coming around that boulder there, but there's a really good handhold underneath the moss on the edge of that rock that's sticking out. So you can hang on to that and then swing round, and then you've got a good foot placement on the other side. This is a really nice gully. It's a little slab of rock like this that can be quite tricky and deceiving. In the dry, I'm sure it's perfectly fine, but when it's wet, with the angle on it, you can easily just slip off it. So just need to take care. Alternatively, you can just work your way up and around above this bit of rock, which is the way I'm going to go. Going to keep to the left of the river here. You see the path goes up there. It's cleared up a little bit. Still very grey. I wouldn't say it's warm, a little bit muggy, but at this altitude it's quite cool. That last section there is fairly steep. There's a lot of big rocks, some loose scree. It's mostly stable. I've come up that steep section. It gets a little bit easier, less of an incline. I'm at 582 metres. The summit is 912 metres, so 330 metres to go. It's raining, but not very windy. We're about to cross a hydro road. It's just there right in the centre of frame. You can come up that road. You would miss out on all the nice views, but it is an alternative route. Having reached the hydro road, it looks like you follow it a little bit to the right. So when you join the road here to the right, yeah, and then immediately we're going to go off to the left. And we'll follow the path up here. It flattens off for a little bit here. You can see the path goes across there and up into the cloud, just up there. Once it flattened off back there, it gets a bit boggy, a bit wet. once you come up that little steep section, you'll see a tiny cairn, and we're going to turn left. From here, I estimate it's about 700 metres walk to the top, and we've got 100 metres of ascent to go. We're at 812 metres. So we'll be at the top in no time actually. It is 9:50 in the morning, so just under 3 hours of walking. Just getting close to the summit of Beinn Bhuidhe. That's the top up there. About another 50 metres maybe. Just approaching the summit of Beinn Bhuidhe. There's a little cairn. What's left of a trick point. Not very much to see today. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get any views from here. On a clear day, you'll be able to see across to the Isle of Mull and Ben More and Mull. Ben Cruachan would be over that direction. If you look back across roughly this direction, you would see all of the Arrochar Alps. Meant to be a really spectacular viewpoint. I really don't remember what it looked like the last time. Did a quick check of the weather report. It's not going to clear up for at least 2 or 3 hours, if it will at all. And I'll be back at the car by then. That's 10:10. So between cycling and walking, it's taken 3 hours and 10 minutes to get here. From the cairn, just going to head back down the way I came up. I think it was at that small cairn that I showed earlier where I had to turn left to come up to here. I think we keep going straight on at that point to take the alternative route back down. So we'll go that way just for something a little bit different. It looks like on a clear day this would be a really nice ledge walk. Yeah, we're actually up quite high. You're far away enough from the edge so you wouldn't get vertical, I don't think anyway. But you should get some nice views on a clear day. So I'm back at this little cairn, and this time we're going to go a wee bit to the left of that cairn, and then it'll bend to the right again, and we're going to go behind and straight on. So earlier on I came up that way. This time I'm going to go down this way. When you come to this point, I think you need to be careful. You come around this little corner and you can see a path on the opposite side. I've just went round there and checked, it fades away to nothing. There was also a faint path that goes down there, and it's, especially with all this rain, it's a bit hard to tell if that's a path or just a stream. But having walked down it a little bit, that looks like the path. So it's a little bit tricky here, just keep to the right once you come around this corner. Yeah, that path I followed isn't the one I'd marked out on my map. So I'm going to work my way around and hopefully pick it up again. I have found a path. You can see lots of footprints. It's kind of close to where I thought it would be when I plotted the map. As long as it's not too steep and we come round this way, keeping to the right hand side of the gorge that I climbed up this morning. Should be okay. Should say on the way down, keeping to the left hand side of the gorge. It was the right hand side on the way up, but left hand side on the way down. I think I've spotted the path I'm supposed to be on. It's on the other side of that burn there. So I'm just going to cut across here now before the gorge gets deeper. I think it's kind of pretty in a very wet way. We're just coming down, I think, to the hydro road. We're going to cross it further to the east than we did on the way up and head down to the left. Just looking back up where I've walked down. It's clearing up a little bit, but not significant. So coming to that hydro road, and there's a little cairn just on the opposite side. That's the top of the path going down, and we pretty much just go straight over and down. I'll probably show it when I get to the edge. I'm just looking back at the hydro road. This is the right path. It's not very clear. There's a very faint line down here. What we want to do is we want to keep above the sort of cliffs and crags that are on the right as we're looking down. And that's where we came up. That's where I came up this morning. So we're going to keep to the left on the way down. Keep the crags and cliffs on our right. As long as we keep over far enough, should be okay. I'm heading in that direction straight ahead. So running parallel to the gorge down to the left here. And there's a gorge came up this morning. It's not exactly a clear path coming down here. There are signs of footsteps. I'm slightly, I think I'm slightly to the right of where I should be, so I'm going to go a wee bit over here and see if I pick up a better trail. You don't want to go too close to the gully, but it is on the edge. It's on the edge of where it gets steep into the gully. Just don't go too close to the edge. And just cutting over a little bit, I found a more worn looking like path. We'll follow this a little bit. This path's definitely easier to see and follow. You can see the waterfalls and just how steep it is over there. There's the path I went up earlier. When you see this style, kind of gives the game away. I can see people went down the side of the fence, but that's the wrong direction. So you want to cross the fence using the style here. And we're going to go straight ahead as I'm looking. So we're not going down the side of the fence, we're cutting across straight ahead, and this fence goes down, and then it goes to the left and joins another fence, and at that point we're going to go through a gate in the corner of the field. So you want to go straight ahead over the fence here. Here's the gate I talked about. I'm not so sure it is actually a gate, but there's another style to cross. We go over here. After crossing the fence here, you do go down the left hand side of that fence. So you turn to the right and go down the left of the fence. Almost back down at the road, or the gravel road. Cloud is lower than it was this morning. It's starting to get some visibility. So almost back down to the gravel track. Short walk back to the bike, and then it's downhill, mostly downhill on the bike back to the car park. Time is 11:40. And eventually you'll come out at the gravel track. From here, turn right and walk back to the bike and then cycle out. Quite nice down in the valley. Should be almost back to the bike. Can't really take the waterproofs off. The horse flies are trying to eat me. Not very nice. I'm back at the bike. I've unlocked it and put my waterproofs away. So just a quick cycle out. Definitely a nicer day for a low level walk than going up high. The midges and the horseflies are having fun. There's not much of a breeze. So I'll soon be back at the car. I'm back at the car park. I hope you found that informative. Didn't really get very good views. Sometimes that's just how it works out. Hopefully next weekend it'll be better and we'll get back to the sunny, open views. Thanks for watching and bye for now.